first tool we're going to talk about is the felling axe. And the reason that we're talking about the felling axe is because it's a simple tool to use and it's a simple tool to maintain. The only thing that you really need to maintain a felling axe is a sharpening puck. They are the size of your hand and they weigh about a pound, so they're easy to incorporate into your backpacker kit. Another reason to start thinking about using a felling axe is because you can essentially restart civilization by cutting down medium to large size trees with a felling axe and construct semi-permanent structures. And if you plan on cutting large trees consistently, you're going to need a bigger felling axe than the one I'm using in this video. This felling axe is used for cutting small to medium sized trees. So do not get these confused with splitting axes. A splitting axe is used for cutting logs vertically and to split them apart, but a felling axe is actually used to chop the fibers horizontally. So if you try to use a felling axe to split logs, all you're going to do is damage the head of the axe and then get it stuck in the log, and that's going to be really fun to remove. At face value, many people underestimate the machete, and it is good at clearing thick brush and chopping small trees, there's no doubt about it, but it's used for a lot more than that. It can be used to cut fodder for livestock, it can be used to coppice trees, and then on top of that, it can actually be used to process large game. You can take your machete and cut the game that you've killed into smaller, more manageable pieces so that it's easier to carry it out of the woods. Now, one thing I'm not a fan of with machetes is that companies will try to include some other kind of tool into the build of the machete, which ends up just being a crappier version of the original tool. So, for instance, this machete has a saw blade on the back, and as you'll see, compared to a normal folding saw, it's far less efficient at sawing through this small branch when I could have just used the machete to chop it. The humble folding saw is a bit more of a specialized tool. When you need to make precise cuts, the folding saw is going to have a distinct advantage over something like an axe or a machete. But also in a tactical environment, it'd be more prudent of you to not use something like an axe and instead cut something with a folding saw, because the axe is going to be much, much louder than you operating that folding saw. Just something for consideration. Now, before you say anything, I know what you're thinking. Why is a shovel in a video full of cutting tools? And it's actually pretty easy to explain, especially shovels like this. If you have a beveled edge, you can actually use them to chop through, small branches, foliage, small trees. But when it comes to digging things like fire pits and fighting positions, having a shovel like this to chop through roots like I do just now is pretty advantageous, and it makes it a lot easier for you to dig those holes. Now, this should be a surprise to no one. A knife makes a basic addition to anyone's kit, and if you don't have one incorporated somewhere, I'm seriously questioning your decisions. Also, a knife is used for anything ranging from cutting cordage to gathering plant material to making feather sticks or batoning wood. And that's just what I can come up with off the top of my head. But we want to make sure we're using the right size knife, not one too big to where it's almost getting into a small machete territory, and one not too small where it's almost like a needle. You want something that's a nice medium range size that's manageable for you.